Kenya. Some that have that started like 2 years ago. They started when I reported an issue of sexual harassment. And to be clear, what I reported is that I realized that my legislative agenda, I realized that my work in Parliament, my activities in Parliament, somehow they're being sabotaged and I'm having a difficult time. When I reflected on several things, I actually came to the conclusion that because I refused to participate in the sexual advances of the Clerk of the Senate, Nyegenye, so many things which are in control, either through his office or by proxies, were happening to me. This is on record. I did a personal statement at the floor of the House. What you saw after that is a woman who was being persecuted for speaking up. You saw a suspension motion that was brought 2 times. The first time they brought it to the floor of the House, they realized that I was present, and so I would be accorded 20 minutes to defend myself. The whole House, that is the leadership of the House, the Speaker, everyone was aware that because I'm a person who speaks and I am very fearless, at that first motion they decided it's probably a bad idea to try and suspend her when she's present, because her 20 minutes in the protected area in Parliament, she will spend it wisely and she will inform Kenyans of what is happening in this country. So what they did at that first motion, you will see the majority leader going on record saying that some of this dirty linen needs to be washed outside of the public spheres. And the majority leader, Aaron Cheriot, is on record saying that they are going to have conversations outside of the plenary, and that the matter, they assured me and they promised me that at the bare minimum, there will be investigations, and whatever it is that I was reporting will be looked into, and that there will be a conclusion where all parties will be able to take responsibility and move forward. That did not happen. As a matter of fact, the majority leader never picked my phone from that day until the next motion, which they basically made sure that I was absent, that I was not in Parliament. So I was in New York attending the Clinton Global Initiative. At that time, also the president and the whole State House delegation was in New York. So even anyone who could have intervened and brought it to the powers that be that something is going wrong, everyone was busy in the US. That is when they brought the motion to suspend me based on the report that I put, that, hey, listen, there's an administrator, a senior person in Parliament, who is actually making my work so difficult because I have refused to participate in his sexual advances. Because I was absent on that day, automatically my 20 minutes of right of reply was lost because I was not at the floor of the House. So what happened is they passed it very quickly and I was suspended. I was suspended in absentia. You will hear many people saying that she was accorded time to come before the Powers and Privilege Committee to defend herself and substantiate the claims. That is not what happened. I reported an incident where I'm being harassed and where I am being treated unfairly. And what happened is that they charged me. They actually took my report and charged me. They made it a charge. They said, we are charging Senator Orwoba for disrespecting Parliament by alleging that there is sexual favors for legislative agenda. So that is not being accorded. That is being charged. And immediately after that, they prosecuted it by the motion. And immediately after that, I was suspended. We have been in this country, so you have lived through these events. I was suspended. Much later, because I put out a point to speak about this to the media, the majority leader called me and said he's going to broker a truce because they were afraid of the things that I was going to say. And they said, you know what, if you at least apologize to your colleagues who you have spoken ill of, we will reduce the suspension. You have seen me on record apologizing and saying, while I was seeking my justice, there are some of my colleagues who I might have rubbed the wrong way. I apologized to them. I said, I'm sorry, I was busy trying to seek justice, but in that way, I might have either come off aggressive or what, but I apologize. What you see after that is them reducing a sentence and bringing it down to, I don't know how many days. Within that reduction of the sentence, of the suspension, I didn't know that I was not supposed to be paid a salary. I thought that when you're suspended, you're not paid a salary, right? So the next time you see me at the floor of the House, what is happening? They have prescribed an apology. The clerk was part of the team that sat down and prescribed the apology. That is why he inserted his name into the apology. And you see me at the floor of the House saying, no, I'm not going to read this apology, because my legal team had already told me that the clerk wants that apology so that he can take the apology back to court and say, in fact, her allegations are false. She even apologized for it. And if you go to the court proceedings, which are public, you will see that the clerk indeed, even after I gave the disclaimer, he indeed took the apology and used it in court for proceedings that are ongoing, saying that the fact that she apologized to me it shows you that she was lying. That is not true. I have reported an incident of sexual harassment. To date, there is a letter to Parliamentary Service Commission. The chair of Parliamentary Service Commission is the Speaker of the National Assembly. The letter is out there. He chose not to act on it. At the bare minimum, in any workplace, at least an investigation must be conducted. I have been saying that if you think I'm lying, let the travel report of the Senate be released. Because then you will see that at the point when United Nations invited me to Brussels to the 53rd Assembly, the clerk gave an advisory that there is no money, yet there are people who are sent to the same forum. You will see this kind of shenanigans in terms of sex in exchange for trips, sexual favors in exchange for legislative agenda, sexual favors in exchange for all sorts of things, including office premises and locations. That is what I've been saying. Not one single entity has investigated this. I asked to be given the travel report, which is in the custody of the Clerk of the Senate. He is the custodian of the evidence that will show you that there's a lot of favoritism towards certain senators. We are 16 nominated women senators in the Senate. We have 3 elected women senators. As the Fourth Estate, I challenge you to go and try and get data of how many of these people travel, how frequent they travel, why are they traveling, who is approving those trips. I challenge you to also go and find out all other kinds of favors, including why certain people, their bills are forever on the order paper, their bills and the legislative agenda is advanced, why certain people seem to have it easy in Parliament. I didn't want to take it there, but I respect the courts, I respect the judicial system. You are aware that the judgment of the defamation is out and that I have been fined 10 million for defaming the Clerk of the Senate. I respect the judicial system. I know, because I am not new to the legal system, that there are many legal loopholes which criminals have been using to get these favorable judgments. Because they always say the law is on us, right? There are many legal loopholes. And I understand and I know the legal loophole that the Clerk of the Senate used. He made sure that he will influence that my motion to suspend me would come when I'm absent. Because if I'm absent, he knew that I must speak the truth. And if I speak the truth when I'm not in Parliament, he knew that he could take that video and take it for defamation. That is exactly the legal loophole that he did. So his whole evidence is based on a video that I did in response to an already public engagement. It was already in Parliament being discussed that the Clerk of the Senate is fighting with Senator Orwoba because Senator Orwoba has said that the Clerk of the Senate, you know, is making her life hell because he's not, I'm not playing ball. It was already in public through the parliamentary proceeding. He did not sue Parliament because he cannot sue Parliament. But he waited for me to respond because he knew that I had to respond, which I did. And that is the video that he took to take for the defamation. So I respect the process, the court proceedings. However, I don't agree with it, and that is why our country, we have an opportunity to appeal. So I have appealed, and I am appealing. And my legal team has taken it. Even the 10 million is absurd. It is meant to scare any member of parliament who thinks that they will wake up and say, this is true, this is happening. It is meant to scare any woman. Where we are today, and this is my message today, to women out there, all the women in Kenya, nobody is going to fight for you. You see some of us legislators going to Kericho to fight for the women who are working in the tea plantations. You have had the issue of sex for work. How can I go and fight for a woman in Kericho when I cannot fight for myself in parliament? We all know very well the culture that has been bred in these spaces. It's not only in Kericho. It is in EPZ. It is in all these workplaces. It is in our homes, where even our domestic staff members are subjected and put to a corner. We have seen politicians of high standing, veteran politicians, being told to turn around so that their behinds can be seen. We saw it the other day. The objectifying of women, it's become such a norm. Because if you raise your head and say, this is wrong, they suspend you, they illegally try to remove you from Senate, they hit you with a 10 million bill. But I want to say this. Wangari Maathai did not strip in Uhuru Park because it was easy, right? Nobody said it would be easy. There is a price to pay to end the culture of sexual harassment. And I'm willing to pay that price. And I'm willing to pick up that fight. And I'm willing and I'm ready. And if they thought that is what is going to silence me, that will not silence me, because I know there are staff members in parliament who are raped in that parliament. Staff members who work there. Any sexual engagement that is non-consensual, that someone has not put their consent, that they have been backed to a corner, like we have seen our politicians on the platforms being told turn around, and they feel the pressure because you know who is this person and everything. That is rape. And I'm telling you, it is happening in parliament, and I'm not going to be quiet. I will speak about it. I mean, what else can they take away? Where I'm standing, I have served a suspension for 6 months. Where I'm standing, I have not been paid my salary forever, you know? Where I'm standing, I have, I don't know how many court cases because of speaking up. Where I'm standing, my own political party does not like the guts that I can stand up and say this is wrong. What else will you take away from me? I know that you're sending me all sorts of signals, telling people to come and tell me that they will finish me. I know that there's a threat to my life. But I also know that there are so many women who are counting on me to keep my head up and to keep speaking the truth in times where many people will be harassed, intimidated, jailed, and even their lives taken away. Innocent Kenyans being shot because they dared to go to the streets to even demonstrate. I know that. So I want to say this to Jeremiah Nyegenye. This is a battle that I will take to the end. Because what happened in parliament, to me, is just but the surface. The women in parliament are suffering. Take it from me. They are having to do things that they would otherwise not even speak up in public. And so therefore, it is just time to end that culture. I believe there's space for us to politic without all this sex for work nonsense. And if we can go out and fight for the women in the tea farms, in the industries, wherever, we have to start from the spaces that we are in. It is wrong. I will never conform to it. And so I remain strong. My legal team, thank you, my legal team, for the work that they're doing. We continue to fight the good fight. And as you can see, do I look defeated? I don't think I don't look defeated. So if they thought this would bring me down, again I say it, as I've said it before, bring it on. The only thing that will end me here is that they will kill me. And that is a fight that we know we are ready. So in the event that I die, I want you to know that these are the battles that I am picking up and I am fighting, because I believe God put me there for a reason. So that is the long and short of it. Any questions?